Welcome to yet another FPL video, and this is going to be a preview of Game Week 13. I'll be talking about how Game Week 12 went, and then of course I'll be talking about my transfer plans and the captaincy and all of that for Game Week 13, which is just a few days around the corner. And this is what I mean, there's going to be a quick swing of games now. You've got to be prepared. But yeah, 62 points, pretty decent. A very small green arrow from 99k to 95k. I will take that. And a few things were a bit lucky. And of course, some players were very, very good for me. A few others, I've got some reservations and doubts now. But yeah, before this game week, and I was talking about it in the streams and also in my, obviously, previews beforehand, I was saying that, you know what, I look at my team and I just don't know what transfer to make. And, you know, the very few transfers that I'm thinking, you know what, that can improve my team. That would require other moves and stuff like that. And some of the players I want to get in, like Kevin De Bruyne, you know, it's impossible to fit in with my current structure unless I change in, you know, some of my strikers and stuff. But yeah, you know what? Looking now, I think my transfer plans are a bit clearer, and maybe I did make a transfer too, but I'll be going into that. And yeah, very good week, like I said. I know 62 is maybe not a great score, but this is kind of on average anyway, not a great week for most. So I will take that. Martinez did very well. And away from home, he's been doing the goods. I think that's 3 returns from 4. It's at home where Aston Villa are just not producing, especially against the teams you would expect them to, you know, maybe get a clean sheet against or to do better against in general. And they just haven't been doing it. But Martinez, still one of the best keeping options that you can get. Of course, if you are going to bring him now on a wildcard or something like that, maybe that's a different story. The fixtures do turn soon, but to be fair, Aston Villa, some of their best performances this season have come against the big teams. So yeah, to be fair, I'm just happy with him, and I'm very happy that I didn't end up changing to McCarthy, even though he also got a clean sheet. But yeah, just happy to have Martinez on that Aston Villa cover. And as for Kyle Walker-Peters, yeah, against Sheffield United, I thought, you know what, if there's ever a game where Southampton can keep a clean sheet, it's this one, and they did. And Southampton defenders have just offered great value now. Bednarek with 12 points, but you have the likes of Vestergaard, who is producing week on week. You have Kyle Walker-Peters, and you know, whenever someone asks me, you know, what defender should I get or whatever, I always say this. I say, you know, try have a Chelsea defender and maybe a Southampton or West Ham defender. I always mention those two teams, especially Southampton, and they keep on coming very good. And of course now, I will be discussing it very soon, but other teams come into the mix as well. But yeah, Southampton are one of the best teams in terms of targeting their defence or keeper. So very happy with Kyle Walker-Peters now with my Chelsea double up. And it has been working for me in the last couple of weeks, but maybe now is the time to move one of them on. And why do I say that? That's Chilwell's second blank in a row, and he is 6.2 million. And with Ziyech being out now, I mean, not just that, but also Chilwell in general, he doesn't look as threatening as he did beforehand. Now, I'm not saying, oh, just definitely get rid of Chilwell, definitely get rid of all Chelsea defenders. I still think having one of them is the best bet to go, but having two, probably too much. And it is unfortunate, but yeah, some of the fixtures coming up are very tough. Of course, there is going to be a fixture swing, but Chelsea haven't beaten a team above 13th. And of course, you still have to beat them, and they still get a lot of points. Their defenders still have the most points in the game, Zuma and Chilwell, but if I'm being honest, you can maybe find better value elsewhere. And if you can fund the likes of Bruno, KDB, Salah, you know, Kane, Son into your team by downgrading Chilwell, then I would recommend it. But having one Chelsea defender like Reece James or Zuma, I would advocate. But yeah, a bit disappointing. But at the same time, Calvert-Lewin got the assist for the penalty at least. And this guy is just so consistent. And I find it so difficult to drop this guy. And before this week started, I could have done a move from him to Bamford. And they both got the exact same number of points anyway, both pretty much from the same thing, winning a penalty. But Calvert-Lewin, it's just, like I said, he's fixture proof. He's now produced against Chelsea, he's produced against Man United, although the assist was very fluky. You know, he's scored against Tottenham. You know, he's done very well in the big games. Scored against Liverpool. This guy is the real deal, I think. And for 8 million, yeah, you can't really go wrong. I think I'm going to keep him. I know the fixtures aren't exactly great for Everton, but you know what? Calvert-Lewin, I think, will keep on ticking over. And like I always say, he's the best asset to own. And moving on to the midfield, there's always someone who produces. And this week, very quiet for my midfield compared to last week, where there was a lot of returns. Grealish blanked. He got the yellow card, unfortunately, towards the end. Very disappointing. And that's the thing with Grealish. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You know, he's going to get these 1 or 2 pointers, and then another time he'll get 10 plus points. So it is what it is. He is the price he is, and Aston Villa are the team they are. But Grealish, he actually could have got the penalty, or should I say scored it, but he gave it to El Ghazi. So that is interesting. Maybe El Ghazi is going to be on penalties from now on if he's on the pitch, but if not, could be Grealish. Definitely, I don't think it's going to be Watkins with his penalty record, but we'll have to wait and see. And it's just so difficult to get rid of Grealish when they've got Burnley at home and West Brom away, and even Palace at home after that. So, yeah, for me, I think he's a keep for now. And I always say this, around this price, the only one who contests him is Zaha, probably, and Jota if fit, which he isn't now. But, Grealish, in my opinion, is the best around this price in midfield. And, I'm happy to own him, even though, of course, there's going to be some pain along the way. Bruno Fernandes blanked, and that's why I wasn't really too keen on bringing De Bruyne in, for example, for this week, and it proved true. I didn't expect it to be a goalless draw, and I have to say the game was pretty boring, but you know what? Bruno Fernandes is so consistent, and his fixture next, I mean, if you're talking about captaincy options, I think the standouts this week, or for Game Week 13, are going to be Bruno against Sheffield and De Bruyne against West Brom, and I'll obviously be discussing that very shortly, but still expect a lot from Bruno. I don't like United, or should I say rate them as a team, but Bruno is a great player. Son got the assist, and I have to say, Gaeta should have done way better, but he did make up for it with a lot of great saves. And Son, yet another assist for Kane, and these lot always combine. If Spurs score, 90% chance, or there is a 90% chance that one of Son or Kane is involved, and probably a 75% chance that both of them combine for it, because this season they've, combined 12 times for a goal, which is ridiculous, and they've just been doing so well. So it's just hard to get rid of any of the Spurs players or to say, who is better, and I've been asked this before, and to be honest, if I'm looking at it, Son gives you the extra point for scoring a goal. He gets the clean sheet points, and he's got more points overall this season, I think. But I don't know. And he's also more explosive, obviously gives you more money. But at the same time, Kane is so consistent. He's only blanked twice. And you know what? In that case, it just depends on, the players you would bring in either, in the striking position or in midfield. So it's a very difficult one. I think keeping at least one of them, I always say this is a must. And keeping both is better than having none of them, in my opinion. Salah captaincy came through, and he was just about to be substituted. And this was a bit of luck, which I didn't have at the same time last season, and which I haven't had too much in UCL fantasy so far. But Mohamed Salah got the penalty, got the bonus point as well. He was about to be substituted, but the penalty came at the right time, and very happy with that. And because, I think that was the difference between having a pretty mediocre week to an okay one, pretty decent one. So happy to have gotten that right. I was contemplating during the game, the Fulham game, you know what, maybe I should have captained Kane, but whatever. And yeah, Kane, I know the goal was maybe a bit fortunate, but he's just always involved. He's always, everything he seems to try goes in, and he's got 3 bonus points, which I think Gaeta deserved them, but Kane got the bonus points, and he just keeps on firing, and it's just so hard to get rid of him. I know he's got Liverpool next. But then again, Liverpool didn't look too great against Fulham, although I wouldn't expect that sort of performance in such a big game. And then, obviously, Calvert-Lewin, I've discussed. Callum Wilson, I have to say, very disappointing. West Brom was one of the fixtures you'd expect him to do well in, and when Newcastle scored in a minute, you thought, surely that's Wilson. And, Almiron assisted by Joelinton, it's just not good enough. He got a yellow card as well for time wasting towards the end. Very disappointing with him, and he's got 2 great fixtures coming up, a big fixture swing. And although I still think, I always suggest him as a great option because he is, for his price, the likes of him and Bamford, for around 6 million, you can't get any better. But I do think in terms of value for money, Bamford offers that, and he plays in a better team that create more chances. And that's why, well, as I'll be discussing very soon, Bamford's in my team. There you go. And I have to say this, I made 2 transfers. I got Diaz in for Chilwell, and I was contemplating, should I get rid of Zuma and keep Chilwell? But the fact that I saved 0.6 million, and I can upgrade now Kilman to a 4.9 million defender, or if not, I could wait maybe another week. So, wait until game week 14, 15, when I have 2 free transfers again, and I can move Zuma to Reece James, and that allows me to do Kilman to Dyer. And I will have some selection headaches, unfortunately, from that, and I'll probably be leaving some points on my bench, but it does give me depth. And another option I can go for even now, for game week 14, is move Kilman to Stones. And what that would allow me is a bit more how do I put this? Because with City, rotation is pretty much a guarantee. But if you have Diaz and Stones, at least one of them should start. And if not, if they don't start, it's very unlikely that they come off from the bench. So that allows the likes of Kufal, Zuma, and Kyle Walker-Peters to come in and do a job. And I'll always be playing a back three anyway, unless one of my midfielders or attackers is injured or missing a game, and I want to keep them. I'll mainly be playing 3-4-3. So yeah, the plan is maybe to do Kilman to Stones and then have Diaz and Stones starting pretty much most weeks, especially with their fixture run. And I mean, I know Diaz is 5.6 million. It's a bit of a boring pick. He gets 6 points, 5 points, but I'll take that every week. Of course, it's not going to happen every week, but the likes of West Brom at home, you would expect Man City to keep clean sheets in these sort of fixtures. And, that fixture run is not just for the next 5, it's for, the next 8, 9, 10 games. So, yeah, Ruben Diaz, I think, one of the better options. And like I said, for you lot who have Chilwell, I'm not saying you should definitely sell him. I just think personally, before I had him, I was looking at him, I was like, oh, you know what, this guy's so dangerous. He's looking like he's going to score. He's so attacking, and Chelsea look so good. But now Chelsea look a bit worse off in the last few games, and Chilwell especially, he's one of them. And to be fair, Zuma, he just keeps on getting the goals from time to time. And if not, I have the option to move him to Reece James, who I had before anyway. So I've got a bit of flexibility here. My midfield and my attack, I have to admit, like I was contemplating the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, as I always say, and captaining him for the West Brom game. But if I'm being honest, I'm not going to say Man City aren't going to score plenty of goals, because I think they can. But beyond game week 13, I don't think I'm going to captain De Bruyne against Southampton or Newcastle or Everton or Chelsea. The only game I would captain him in is West Brom. And I look at that and I think, well, to be fair, I also have Bruno against Sheffield, and he's a great captaincy option. And then I look at the next fixture, so for game week 14, and to be honest, I'd probably captain Kane for that, who plays Leicester. And if you see his record against Leicester at home, it's fantastic. I think Leicester is his favourite opponent. And then for game week 15, we go back to Salah, and I'd probably captain him against West Brom. And if he starts, he could be in for gold. So you look at that and you talk about captaincy, and I wouldn't be captaining KDB too much, maybe once for the next few. Maybe you could captain him against Newcastle, but apart from that, I just don't see it. So I look at that and I think, you know what, I'm happy with my midfield. With my attack though, Wilson is a bit hit and miss, and there's too many, I know it's also a bit of bad luck involved with him because, in COVID outbreak in Newcastle, they miss a game. He gets injured as soon as I bring him in and stuff like that. But with Bamford, I just feel more secure. I know he's very hit and miss, Bamford. He's not a great finisher. His conversion rate isn't particularly high, but he gets a lot of chances and he's very explosive at times. And his away record's very good. He's got a great fixture run coming up. And I think he's fixture proof. I'm not going to say he's going to score against Man United and Tottenham away, but you never know. He could. He scored against Liverpool at Anfield back when Liverpool had their full team. So, with Bamford, I expect good things for his price, and very happy with him. And this front three, I'll probably be keeping for the foreseeable future. I really like this front three, and I look at my midfield, I really like it. Of course, ideally, I'd add probably KDB, maybe in for Grealish or something like that, but you can't have everyone. You have to make priorities, and at the moment, this is what I have. Maybe getting rid of Chilwell is going to be a mistake. Chelsea could keep a clean sheet against Wolves. Maybe West Brom will score against Man City, but for the long term, I do like having that City cover. And like I said, the plan in the future is to potentially move Kilman all the way to Stones. Maybe I could move Basuma to Souček, who I've always been recommending to you lot as a good fifth midfielder option, but nothing more. The only problem with Souček is you don't know when his points are going to come. You're probably going to be leaving him on the bench too much. So I think I'd rather just have that fifth defender and leave Basuma to always be on my bench. And third on the bench. And, my 5 defenders always fight for those 3 spots, and my midfield 4, my attacking 3 stay the same, and I don't really have selection headaches in that way. The only headaches I would have is selecting my defenders and also my captaincy. And speaking of captaincy, you look at the fixtures all around, and maybe there's a few options, but Grealish, I've learnt my lesson. He might do very well against Burnley, but I'm not going to captain him. I want to captain people who are consistent, who play in consistent teams, who are reliable and proven options. Grealish is very good this season, no doubt about it, but I'm not going to be captaining him. And so then it limits me to Fernandes and Salah. And maybe, to be fair, I'm overlooking the Spurs duo because they're just so consistent, but their ceiling is low, I think. And Salah's going to be my vice captain. He's at home. He's got a good record against Tottenham. And it is a big game, but I don't think he's going to be my captain. You look at Bruno Fernandes, he has Sheffield away. And from the players I have, he's the standout. If I had KDB, I'd have a bit more of a decision to make, and it would be between them. But if I had both, and I know some of you are going to be asking me this, I would probably still edge towards Fernandes because he is more of a reliable FPL option, because with KDB you're mainly relying on assists. Sometimes he creates a lot of chances and they're not converted. But as for Bruno, he can score as well, so can KDB, but this season, let's be honest, he hasn't scored from open play. But Bruno has, and he's got a great fixture as well. Sheffield are looking very poor, and Man United away from home, they've won every single game. So yeah, I think Bruno is going to be my captain. I'm not really going to think about that too much. My starting lineup, Kufal, Zuma and Diaz will be in my defence. Martinez has a good fixture. Same with Grealish, of course. So hopefully they do well. And of course my Spurs duo are going to be facing up against Salah. Hopefully there's goals there. I still hope for a Liverpool win, but we'll wait and see what happens there. And Calvert-Lewin, he's got Leicester away. Hopefully he can do something there. And to be honest, Leicester at home have been struggling. I know in the last game they did win against Brighton, but apart from that, this season they have been struggling, although maybe now they'll start to build with fans back in the stadium. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin, I know the fixtures aren't great. He might blank against Leicester, but I'm confident in this guy, and he's someone I don't want to get rid of. And the likes of Wilson, I was more prepared to get rid of. And there you go, I made the 2 free transfers, and that is a kind of a sneak peek into my thoughts for Game Week 14 and 15. Of course, things are subject to change, but I do like my team overall, and that's why I burned a transfer for the first time ever last week, or should I say for Game Week 12, and now, you know what, I decided to use both of them. There's not long left. If you look, the deadline is, wow, it's tomorrow. Such a quick turnaround. This is incredible. 4:30, well, yeah, there you go, that's the deadline for you, and some good games coming up, and I have to say, oh my God, as an Arsenal fan, I don't want to watch anymore, but it is what it is. But there's still some great games. That Liverpool-Spurs game is going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, very happy with my team. And, in the future, I will be seeing, whether the likes of Zuma or Reece James or Chua, we're going to be seeing who is the best asset from those three. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Reece James, of course, offers the best value. With Zuma, he is 5.7 million, but I got him in relatively early, so he's 5.4 million for me. But yeah, I'll wait and see, because like I said, I may do a bit of a sideways move from Zuma to Reece James, and then move Kilman to Dyer, and if not, to Stones. But let me know what you think. What transfer should I make in terms of upgrading Kilman? And should I do Zuma to Reece James? And this is not for Game Week 14 per se. This could be for Game Week 15 when I have 2 free transfers. Because I'll be honest, with the rest of my team, I am fairly happy with it. I believe West Ham have a double game week coming up, and they've got some good fixtures overall. So maybe I've been a bit harsh on Kufal, but ever since I got him in, he's blanked every single time. And before that, he only blanked once. So hoping for a bit more from him. But apart from that, very, very happy with my team. And let me know what you think down in the comment section below, like I said. And if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button. It really helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We've made a lot of progress, but still that bit more to go, and I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything. And share this video around with your friends and family. But thank you to everyone who's been watching, and I wish you all the best for Game Week 13. Hopefully more green arrows to come. Very happy with my rank this season. It's much better than it was at the same stage last season, and I ended up finishing very strongly, so hoping for more of the same. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I try to answer every single one of you, and yeah, discussing football and FPL is the best thing about this, so yeah, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.